You call yourself a man? You know you're a lying, low-life, motherfucking gambling degenerate prick. You know that's what you are?
Well, hello you degenerate fucks, and welcome to the Degenerate Gambler. It is Wednesday the 23rd of August. We're just back with another episode, and listen, it's been a bad start this season. I have had a few small bets up, but I just can't seem to catch a fucking break with one of my main bets, or just a bet that pays anywhere decent sort of money. So we'll have a look back at last week's bets. I'll give you some stats, and then I'll give you my bets for the week ahead. This week, I only did a bet Monday. I didn't do a bet Tuesday. Probably won't do a bet tonight on Wednesday. Might do Europa bet, but they haven't been great. So I may just leave it to Friday, Saturday, because, as I say, I don't seem to be able to catch a fucking break. The last load of bets have been very close. Well, most of them anyway. So yeah, I'm sort of frustrated. And say just wanting that bit of luck. So look, I'll look back at last week's bets. So I did MK Dons. Okay, you could say I got a bit of luck. They won in the last minute. Right, fine. They were the better team. Hamilton won pretty easy. Brighton won pretty easy. And then Wrexham, 5 each. Now, they weren't really ever leading in the game, so it's hard to say, that it was close. But the thing is, with Wrexham, and I did say this, I thought Demons and Notts County would be big teams for goals this year. But I never saw the 5 each coming, and I just thought at home that they would beat Swindon, but obviously not. So that's what beat that. The only plus point was that, as I said on Twitter, it was my bet for our bet syndicate, so I just picked 3 of my 4 selections and put it in the 20 quid bet, and it won, because Wrexham was the one that I left out. So I was managed to get 150 quid for me and the boys to put away for the end of the season. So, at least I got something that won. But the overs bet, there's just always a 0-0. But Fulham Brentford was up, Hull Blackburn was up, Crewe Walsall was up, and the 2 that beat it were City Newcastle, which was strange. You expected goals in that game, and then Wycombe Burton was 0 each. So that's what beat that. On the evening bet, again, bit of bad luck. So Dortmund won, Real Madrid won, Napoli won, Inter Milan won. The ones that beat it were Royal Union in Belgium. And then PSG conceded a last minute equaliser. But if it had been on that game, the fact that I haven't got a win, I probably would have cashed out. So I don't think that the real one that beat me there was that Royal Union in Belgium, because as I said, there's no way if PSG had went 1 up and it was maybe 60-70 minutes, I'd have probably took that, because I'm busting for a win. The fact is, I nearly took 60 quid on Sunday for a bet, wishing now that I fucking had it, but I'll get on to Sunday now. So Sunday's bet was Villa, they won, Hearts won, Hibs won, Rapid Vienna won, and Salzburg won. Now, Villa was early paid. There was no early paid in the Hearts and Hibs games. Rapid Vienna was early paid, and Salzburg was early paid. So when they were at half time, the bet was up except for Chelsea. Chelsea obviously was 1 each at half time, but they missed that penalty. If they scored that penalty, I would have took it. But even when they missed the penalty, it was 60 quid at half time they were offering. So I actually thought about that for a bet that was paying 120 something. I was like, 60 quid would be alright, because I haven't had a win. I then sort of lost my way a bit and just went mad and done 2 or 3 other bets. So I had Lazio. They lost in the last minute after leading 1-0. Roma over 1.5 was up. Atalanta was up. Lens and Rennes over 2.5 was 1 each, so that was beat. Monaco both to score, they won 4-0. So, and then Juventus, they won. Atletico was 0 each. Santos both to score against Gremio, that was up. And then Ludogorets over 2.5, they were beat 2-0, I think. I also did 2 bet builders that both were pretty shite in the 2 Sunday games. So look, There's no hiding from it. It's been a bad start. I haven't lost that much money. I'm probably not down that much. But, I just want to see one of those main bets or one of those overs bets or something hit to get me sort of over 100 quid in winnings. That'll sort of kickstart the season. But anyway, let's look at the stats from last week. I'm just realising I haven't done the percentages. I might have to... fuck it. So what I have done this week is I have done the both the score stats as well as the overs. So I'll do the favourites, draws and outsiders first. So Premier League, there was 9 games, 7 favourites won and there was 2 draws. Championship, all the rest of these are 12. 6 games, 6 favourites in the Championship, 3 draws, 3 outsiders. League 1, 5 favourites, 3 draws, 4 outsiders. League 2, 5 favourites, 3 draws, 4 outsiders. National League, 5 favourites, 5 draws, 2 outsiders. National League North, 5 favourites, 3 draws, 4 outsiders. And the National League South, 5 favourites, 4 draws, 3 outsiders. So a lot of 5s in there for the leagues with 12, so they're all under 50% in general. But so it was 38 favourites, 21 draws, and 22 outsiders, which is pretty fucking big. 38 is probably around about 48, 47%, which is lower than last week where it was 54%. So last week was pretty good. This week, not so much. Going on to the overs, what way do I do these? So I'll just do league by league. So Premier League, 6 games were over, 3 weren't. 4 games were both to score and 5 weren't. Championship, 5 games were over, 7 weren't. 6 games were both to score and 6 weren't. League 1, 3 games were over, 9 weren't. 2 games were both teams scored and 10 weren't. League 2, 9 games were over, 3 weren't. 7 games were both to score, 5 weren't. National League, 4 games were over, 8 weren't. 7 games were both to score, 5 weren't. National League North, only 2 games were over 2.5 and 10 weren't. Only 4 games both to score and 8 weren't. And then lastly, the National League South, 6 games over, 6 games not. And then 9 games were both to score and 3 weren't. So let's look at the totals there. So it was 35 games were over and 46 not. So again, that's less. That's probably 44, 45%. And then in the both to score, it was 39, 42, which is going to be close to 50%. That's going to be 48, 49%. Yeah, so 39 is basically 40, 40's half. Yeah, it's 2 games. It's about 49%. So out of those 2, both to score was the way. But yeah, the numbers definitely weren't as good as what they were last week. So that does make me feel a bit better that it was hard to pick a bet. So that was the stats. I've done last week's bets. Look at this week's bets. So again, I went with a quad, and I said this last week, and it'll be like this for the first couple of weeks. There's a lot of teams still at good prices, because of the form and stuff that haven't really, teams aren't running away with it yet. So towards the end of last season, my bets were kind of 4 to 7, 4 to 6, 4 to 5 home teams. There's not too many of them about at the minute, and those that aren't I wouldn't say are as guaranteed as maybe taking a risk on an even money shot, because I think once we get sort of 5-6 games in, which isn't, the League 1, League 2 have both played 4. This is going to be the 5th game. Championship have played 3. Premier League have only played 2. So give it, another 2-3 weeks when they've all played over 5 games, and we'll have a sort of better understanding of where the bookies are with the prices. So we'll say I'm just taking a bit of a risk on some of the selections price ways, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then I've picked the five overs, and every week I've had an overs at fucking a 0-0 near enough, except for the first week when Peterborough was 1-0 and that beat me. So I'll look at these now. So first team is Bolton. Bolton are away at Burton. They're 19 to 20. which is 1.91 in decimal. Wigan at home to Barnsley, 5-4, which is 2.25. MK Dons at home to Doncaster, they're 3-4, that's 1.75. And then way later on in the night, AC Milan at home to Torino, 8-13, that's 1.62. So look, I could sort of get into form a wee bit. I will start doing it next week about the form and stuff, because, you know, like I said, teams have played 4 games in some of them lower leagues, but it's still not a great amount of form to say, oh, this team's flying or whatever. 5 games is sort of the minimum. But Bolton are sitting towards the top, and they've won 3 and drawn 1 in those 4. Burton have only got 1 point. Wigan, yes, they're in the bottom. They're just out of the bottom 3. They've got 2 points, but they did lose 8 points. They'd actually be top of the league if it wasn't for the points. So, you know, I do think Wigan is overpriced there because they're at home. They've had a good start. Yeah, they're 17th, 18th, whatever they are, but realistically they're actually top. So they're top of the form table. MK Dons, look, I've said it, I think they're the best team in that league. They've done me a good turn last week. And I think at home, they've only had 1 home game and they won it. So hopefully at home they can get a good fortress going there at the MK Stadium. And then AC Milan, look, they've bought some great players. They won their first game pretty easy. But as I say, they've bought a team that could potentially win that Italian league. You know, saying Loftus-Cheek, saying what do you call the American from Chelsea? Can't remember, but you know you're talking about. Used to play for Dortmund, Chelsea, and they're saying a few other good players. So they're saying to win the league, and I backed them to finish top 4, and I thought that was a really safe bet. So I did the 13 at home. All 4 games have already paid, which is good. You know, we'll take that. And I think it was paying around 12-1, with the bonus made it 13-1. So I think it's paying about 140. The overs again. I looked at the stats again, you know, but it's 4 games for most of them. And again, just because they've had 3 of their first 4 overs doesn't mean, you know, we're still at a point where goals per game aren't that easy to read. But anyway, the 5 that I've got are Bradford Crew, which is 4-5, 1.8. Barrow Wrexham, 19-20, 1.91. Peterborough Derby, 9-10, that's 1.9. Coventry Sunderland, 4-5, that's 1.8. And then Rotherham Leicester, 4-5, that's 1.8. In total, that was 20-1, so that paid like 105 for the 5er. So that's the 2 bets. Say I'll probably I haven't really looked at Friday's fixtures yet. I'll look at Friday. I'll probably have a bet on Friday. Some sort of early bet. The only thing I've got on this week, actually, that I did last week that I don't even know might be up. I haven't checked yet, but there was this epic boost on William Hill for Ram Murder Raider winner on day 1. He has a few favourites. I think actually now that Bet365 have Rammer, he's won that favourite Paddington at York, boosted from 4-5 to even. So I don't even know if I have a piece of that. Horse racing is very, very strange when it comes to things like super boosts. Hard to fucking, you know, I'd rather have the one that I'm on was 1-3 boosted to evens. The one that Bet365 are offering is 4-5 boosted to evens. So, you know, do with that what you will. But anyway, looking again at next midweek, not massive. So it's EFL Cup. There's 19 games on Tuesday. There's 2 EFL Trophy games, and there's 3 Champions League games. They're the final qualifier, the second leg of the qualifiers. On Wednesday, there's 5 EFL Cup and the other 3 Champions League playoff qualifiers. Thursday is 10 Europa League qualifiers and 22 Europa Conference qualifiers. Now, those will be big games because I think that's to get you into the actual tournament. So a lot of the riff-raff teams should be gone. And it could just be decent games and decent teams. So I'll have a look at those next week. But it could be another midweek of only maybe 1 bet. I don't think I'll be going mad. But yeah, look, that's it for this week. As I say, it's been frustrating. I need a bit of luck. I need to catch a fucking break. Let's hope it's this week. And so that's everything. That just leaves me to say, if you are doing a bet, good luck and happy pondering.
Here, get the fuck out of here. Here, thanks. Let me find out you fucked up. I'll leave you wherever I find you.